Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 25th of October. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer. Phil, we are in the home stretch, to use a racing term, aren't we?
My lordy lord, Gary, as they say somewhere.
Are you engaged in this, or there's a meeting happening?
I'm just going to bring this to your attention, Gary, because we're here on the 25th, right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Maths
5,
was never his strength.
6, 7, 8 weekends to go before the end of the year.
No, you still sell. Last week we named Edition a second last drinks at the bar. It's not quite last drinks at the bar. The second last drinks at the bar lasts for a little bit of time, and then you get the last. Talking about bars.
Speaking of bars, are you about to come to the same place that I was going to come to?
No, I don't think so. I'm coming to the series that you were watching. You talked about Dharma. You watched Dharma,
I haven't watched Dharma. I've never talked about Dharma.
Gee, it's dark. I tell you what,
Is
I'm
it?
watching it. Ooh,
Dark Dharma. What's it about? Quick
serial killer,
synopsis?
mate. I feel about Jeffrey Dahmer's serial killer. I don't know if anyone's watched that and got spooked out or nightmares from it, but because he sort of meets people in bars, picks them up, and then before you know it,
Dharma, D-A-R-M-A.
D-A-H-M-E-R.
Okay, you're recommending it?
Well, if you like something dark and grisly, there's no better show going around.
I'm going to quickly recommend a show, then I'm going to come back to last drinks at the bar, but I'm going to recommend industry. So if your child...
Are you talking about this?
If your child is working in the finance industry, the legal industry,
well, what does that have to be the child?
High-flying industry...
Well, our audience is young. There are people watching it that are in that industry themselves.
But ultimately, this show follows the lives of people that are really between their early 20s and early 30s.
Maybe your father's working in that industry.
Well, if you're in your early 20s and early 30s, the child is not watching this show.
Well, they might have had a very young child who's liking GPTV.
Just want to start industry. Industry.
Get to the point.
It is a show that has kept me gripped across 12 episodes. Good show. Coming back to last drinks at the bar, shout out to Glenn Bricker.
Yeah, I can't believe Glenn Bricker and his Scotch night.
So Glenn Bricker held his first whiskey afternoon at this centre, which is our display centre on the corner of Stanley Street and Balaclava Road. Held his first whiskey evening.
No fights.
Had a turnout of about 30 people. And it was just drinks from 4
and it was civil.
4 o'clock
till about
5:30.
No people
we're
dancing.
We're going to open this up. If you're interested in coming to, we're going to hold this whiskey evening, whiskey afternoon, the last Friday of each month. We're going to try and build something around this.
Someone's known to it. You can't just
be a stranger. Like if you're a serial killer watching this show.
If you love Dharma, you better come along, I think.
But it was great. And shout out to Glenn Bricker who organised it. And we're going to kick it off here. And it's going to become a thing.
If you're a GPTV viewer and you like the odd Scotch and you want to know about it, let us know.
And the best part about it is fully funded by us. I'm not sure how that
we just have to check now that you're not a serial killer. That's become part of something I never used to have to do before.
Fully funded by us, Gary, and there were nibbles. We had some lovely by Hunter and Co, which is a deli in Elsternwick, supplied the catering. We paid for it.
What nibbles? Who paid? We.
We, you and me.
Well, I never approved that and sign off on that.
A little sneaky thing, a little sneaky invoice.
Hate the sneaky invoices.
That I
He's been doing the sneaky invoices since 1986.
Gary, just want to jump straight in.
Don't read the whole thing. But I just want to announce before you read it, this is not just the head of our fan club. This is our entire fan club. This is the one. We've got a one-person fan club.
Shout out to Edna V.
Yeah, good on you, Edna.
We're not going to necessarily give her a surname because she didn't even give us permission to talk about this.
Now she's going to sue us.
But listen to this.
She went from fan club leader to litigant.
And this was off the feedback of some nasty feedback we'd had from somebody that just said,
cynical. I don't know.
Well, it was nasty.
Probably was nasty.
Cut me. I do not want to hear from you guys.
Cancel culture. That's what it is. Cancel. I don't like what you watch. I don't like what you've said because it took too long to get to the point about what's the best room in the house. So I don't want anyone watching the show. And quite frankly, I wish Jeffrey Dahmer would come and see you both in the night. Get rid of you both. That's what. So
Edna V would love Edna V. Her feedback. Don't listen to anyone else or whatever her name was who's listened to your read. Well, we've forgotten about it.
I know, so have we forgotten.
You two are the best. Yeah. Maybe to top your videos, a camera crew to follow you around like they do on Lux listings in Sydney.
Did you watch Lux listings, by the way?
I do.
He's a good friend of ours.
I'm a bit behind. But the way you are, I watch your shows anyway.
Yeah,
in brackets,
good.
I could just imagine, just try to imagine how much better you two would be than the stars of Lux listings. I'm not doing it for any reason except she's not watching for any other reason except that she loves the chemistry you and I have together. I also love the Qantas info and for the Fortitude Valley recommendation from yesterday. and the restaurants you've been to, etc. Regards, Edna.
Good on you, Edna.
We're going to send you something because
I know. No slipping any fall through. You've spent enough on the Scotch night.
I'm going to send Edna a gift, and I will slip a little sneaky invoice through so you don't see.
The sneaky invoices. They're killing me. Philip, I think it's boast time. Should we play the boast time music? Can we get a new boast time theme? Let's try our new boast time theme right now. It's boast time. Did you like that theme better?
That was great,
Not
Gary.
bad.
We don't know what it was, but no doubt I'll watch
great.
it.
Of course you will.
I'll
I'll overlay it in. It'll be brilliant. 78% put the towers up
Gary,
against the industry average of 62%, which is probably a bit less, because people don't report it. Agents hide from the truth. Not here. Oh, no.
It is.
We're up front with the truth.
So I want to make the point.
Some agents can't handle the truth, Phil.
I want to make the point, Gary.
Yeah.
We sold 18 out of 23 for a 78%.
Yeah, we did.
Now, I'm just looking at the auction results here. This is from Domain. They have a clearance rate of 64%, right? But wait for this.
I'm waiting.
This goes to show you how naughty the industry is, because it's all our results are absolutely categorically 100% true. But, they declare a 64% clearance rate, but there were 1,050 auctions scheduled, of which 225 weren't reported. So there's 62%, there's 64%, Gary. I'm sorry to say this.
It'll go back 20%.
It's probably going to drop
50.
down to early 50.
No, it'd be 50 because 20% haven't
Well,
sold.
that's it. So I'm going to shout out to all of our colleagues and competitors. Do the right thing.
Just report your results. Don't be gutless.
I was going to say
They've
man
been
up,
gutless.
but now I'm going to say
person up.
Person up.
Person up, or whatever pronoun you identify with, up. Phil, let's talk about some of the results on the weekend, because there were some rippers and some busy auctions, and you were a busy man, and I think on Sunday night you'd done 5 by then, and some full action-packed auctions, young Phil.
I've got to tell you, viewers, I absolutely loved my Sunday. I did 5 auctions. We sold 4 out of 5.
Do a little dance there. When he does his dance, things are good, because he talks with dance, and he's like, I did 5 auctions, and they sold well. And
I just loved it. Viewers, the 4 auctions that I sold
keep it dancing.
Had multiple bidders.
Yep.
There was an energy, there was a momentum.
Yep.
You would not think, if you listen to the media, you'd think that buyers were walking around almost suicidal, they're depressed, anxious.
Well, that's not
what I'm saying.
And that's not what I'm saying. And I think the heading of the show shouldn't be the politically incorrect, but I think it should be what bad news, and put a question mark. Because what bloody bad news is there when people are coming and they're selling and they're buying and people are engaging and they're trading and they're moving on with their lives, they're excited, they're celebrating, they're popping corks, they've found their house, they're popping corks, they're moving on. I don't see the misery, Phil. I don't know. As much as the media and people want us to get down and miserable and depressed, I'm feeling pretty up, and you're dancing. And
do you know what? So, viewers, there is a bit of disconnect between what if you think about it, is the media going to sell their story, whether it be electronic media, social media, or good old-fashioned print or the television? Imagine this, the headline in the Age newspaper, for example, or imagine the headline on the news. Property market is fine. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, no,
that's just not going to see. Who's going to watch?
You know what?
Who's going to watch?
That show's ratings will plummet.
That's right.
Everyone will watch.
Everything's fine. No need to watch.
No, exactly. So no need to watch. We'll let you know when it changes, if it ever does.
Correct.
Which it probably won't with the property market, because it's always pretty good. Really, it has a little bit of a slump and has a little bit of a high. And anyway, let's talk about some of our results, Phil, because you were a busy fellow. But you started off in Banksia Street in Bentleigh East. Congratulations to the buyer.
Just want to shout out to the vendor there
and the buyer.
The vendor there, Misty, who is the most beautiful in every possible way.
Misty, isn't it?
Play Misty for me. She's a lovely person.
Good song.
She's beautiful. And I arrived at the property, and she gave me the reserve.
Who, by the way, who remembers who Play Misty for me?
Yes.
If you remember who sung that, I know that the movie, Clint Eastwood was in the movie, but if you remember who sung Play Misty for me, let us know. We'll get some tickets to the movies. Go on.
I've almost lost my thread, but Misty says to me before the auction, she says, this is our reserve, but 33 is my lucky number.
Okay.
So I bought that auction home for her. Is the price undisclosed or not?
No, it's not undisclosed.
So we sold it for, and above the reserve price, for $1,333,000.
There you go, Phil. So it was just over the range.
Misty will never forget the sale of her property or the price that we sold it for.
No, indeed she won't. You said
lovely person, by the way.
Are you forgetting?
Lovely family.
Are you forgetting more things now you're getting older? Are you like walking into rooms thinking, I knew I had to come in here. I can't remember what for yet. Is that happening to you?
No,
it doesn't
not
never happen
particularly.
though. It doesn't never happen. Come on, tell me the truth. It doesn't never, because I know when you walk in the office, sometimes you just sort of start wandering through.
Who are all of these people?
I know.
Why am I here?
And you shake your hand, introduce yourself to me and say, I met you before, you look familiar.
Yeah, no, it's not happening yet.
Not yet. Okay, good.
Okay.
Happy with that. 28 Kerford Road, congratulations, or Kerford Street, Malvern East. Well done to Jeremy Rosens. That is a disclosed sale of $3,620,000, just at the top of the range.
Viewers, for those of you that want to pigeonhole us, I know we have offices in St Kilda and
people say,
Caulfield,
you don't
Carnegie,
sell in
Murrumbeena
Malvern
and Bentleigh.
or Toorak or Armidale.
We sell absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, and plenty
this
in
house
those
in
areas.
Kerford Street is in the epicentre of the Gascoigne estate,
It is,
Gary,
Malvern East.
which has always been the providence, some very blue-blooded, very respectable agencies.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Rosens took our show to Kerford and we sold it. We sold it competitively. We sold it with great competition. We sold it at a great price. So, viewers, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah,
we will be there for you.
We'll bring the show to town. It's like we say, they had an auction at Edry Road in Malvern East, and there've been a number of auctions in that street. None of them had ever gone as well in the last 5 years as the auction that you conducted there, Phil.
So on a scooter too, if I remember rightly.
I don't think so, but we always get told when we're ever there by residents, that was such a good auction, so much
Speaking
energy.
of scooters, viewers, I did buy 2 scooters, electric scooters, and absolutely loving them, except, of course, the Victorian government.
That's right, yeah.
Wake up. You're obsessed about climate change, of which I'm a believer, of course, but the government, we've got to get more people taking public transport. You've got to stop using your cars. We're worried about climate change. Electric scooters? No. You can ride a bike, right? You can walk, you can run.
You can skateboard.
But an electric scooter, no, we haven't worked out how to adjust our legislation
how to
around
get
that.
taxes out of it or how to make money from it yet, Phil.
Be bigger idiots.
You know what? You've alienated a lot of our Victorian government. The I Stand With Dan crew are going to be very upset with you at the moment.
I'm not declaring my political allegiances, but it happens to be that the Andrews government is the government, and really,
I remember once I said
something. Get behind modern technology. Get behind what people want.
I said something once, this flippant comment, and I don't make a lot of my political views known, and I cop it. You're the mouthpiece of Liberal Party. That's what our show, that's what our whole business is for. Obviously, a mouthpiece, it had nothing to do with Liberal Party.
You know what I stand for, Gary? I stand for good government.
Yeah.
Right? I stand for good government.
Yeah, no matter who's in.
And there have been many times where we've praised the Labor Party, we've praised the Liberal Party. Yeah. I'm not sure we've ever praised the Greens Party.
Don't think so. Can't quite remember that.
We're still young.
Yeah,
but
we'd like to.
Bottom line is I stand for good government and really get with the program. It's so ridiculous.
This is the nanny state of the world.
Well, it's fast becoming it, Gary.
It is, Phil.
Becoming
let's move. And the days of taking personal responsibility is gone.
Yep.
No longer are we responsible for ourselves. But we're getting way off track, Phil. 10 Northern Avenue, life in a northern town.
Shout out to the vendors there. Loveliest couple. We sold that prior to
undisclosed,
auction. Well done to Lamore, Nikki, Justin, who did a great job there. And interestingly, Gary, and I'm not boasting. Well, of course I'm boasting.
Do we need to put the music theme up?
But we sold. The price is undisclosed. But we sold it for about 10% more than the absolute identical property next door had sold for. So this is a townhouse.
In a better time.
Party wall going down the centre.
In a better time.
They had the mirror image. We sold ours a few months later for 10% more. If you'd like us to deconstruct that sale with you at another time,
we could have some more detailed boast time around that, Phil. Anyway, great result. Well done. And you didn't sell yet, but maybe today, Regent Street. It's pretty hot to
what
run.
A beautiful house.
Great house.
We've got a second inspection there today.
If it's not sold, come down and buy it quickly. 29 Regent Street, Elsternwick. Phil enjoyed the auction of 19 Helenslea Road. I think it's the first time it's been sold. Maybe since it was built. Is it possible?
I think that's
around that time?
I think that's the case.
I don't think it's ever been sold before. And I had the same pleasure this weekend of auctioning another home also. And I've got to tell you, last week on the show, if we did a bit of a flashback, and Edna would know this, we talked about in our review of the property in Malvern Grove, number 6 Malvern Grove.
Yes.
And you said, I'm a bit jealous that I'm not the auctioneer. Well, I tell you what, you'd be bloody jealous now. Because not only was it a good auction, a lot of fun.
A lot of people?
If you want to talk about Vendor of the Year, I think I get there, and not only the most delightful family, and we've done a lot of business with this family, and they are really wonderful, beautiful people, but not just that, but on the way out, they give me a gift. A cake, which I've got to go and actually get that cake and bring it to the office.
Hang on, if you were given a cake, we're equal partners in the business, Gary. Where's my 50% of that cake?
It's true, it's coming. They gave me a cake, they gave me a box of chocolates, and they gave me some olive oil. The most magnificent family.
Lovely.
And,
so here's a challenge for all of our vendors that are watching this show.
Good result with the auction.
All of our vendors that are watching this show. Yeah. I think let's start a competition for the vendor that gives us
the best gifts,
the best presents.
Exactly right. Let's do that.
So
I think people will be running to do that. They'll be running to list their houses.
Let's start a competition where we throw the challenge out to you. Vendor of the Year Award. Vendor of the Year Award, which we will base purely on the quality of your present to
exactly right. Exactly.
Us.
It's not how nice you are, it's how much you're giving.
Do you know what I think vendors should do this? There's two things.
It's shameless.
There's two things I think we've got to encourage vendors to do moving forward in 2023. I want obviously an extravagant gift.
Okay,
right? An extravagant gift, and I can give you what I like.
Is there a list somewhere?
I'll
guest list? David Jones
or
maybe
prepare a list.
Good on you.
For when
they
ring to say what would Philip like.
Where's the gift?
So, and the other thing, because we're so busy on the weekend,
we are busy.
I'd like them to produce like a morning tea or an afternoon tea or a lunch.
Well, this family, and an Italian family, not only did they give me that gift, but they brought cannoli and they brought a gift for the buyer as well. Isn't that amazing? And of course, you've been to Sicily.
Incredible.
Cannoli are beautiful. Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, I really like chicken and avocado sandwiches.
There you go.
You know those old-fashioned.
Throwing out the challenge
You know how
vendors.
they cut the crusts off and then cut them into threes. I think they
like they have them at Puyong and they have them at like the VRC and
that's right. Chicken and avocado sandwiches.
Anyway,
with some champagne.
We got off track, Phil, because we were talking about 19 Helenslea, and that's been for a long time, maybe since the 70s, maybe 60s. Well, this house in Malvern Grove, I think first time in something like 70 years.
Incredible.
Is that, I think it might be right.
So
first time in 70
a lovely
years.
family, but it's so bad for real estate. People that stay in the houses
for
70 years.
They're selfish people that stay in the home so long.
Horrible.
Why would you do that? You know, you're denying us an entire livelihood when you stay in a home that long.
You know, we've got expenses.
Yeah, big ones at that. 23 at 1 Whitehall Court, Phil, Matt Morley sold that one. 4 bidders or 5 bidders for that apartment, Philip. Phil was in the mid to high 4s, very popular, and it ran beyond that. But well done to Matt Morley, does a wonderful job. 36 Bamber Road, we had some fun at that auction.
Oh, that was fantastic.
You know,
really. You know,
be careful if you're an agent and you're going to come and bid at one of our auctions run by Philip. He's just not going to go easy on you. He really isn't, and nor did you, and nor should you.
Shout out to Marcus Peters.
Yeah, come along.
I do apologise. Well, I don't really. I'm going to publicly apologise.
Yeah.
Do I genuinely feel sorry? Not at all. But it is politically correct.
Just from an industry point of view.
Apologise to Marcus Peters, who is a good sport and somebody that we actually really like.
Marcus,
but you know what I loved about the auction?
And Marcus, you don't need to go to the solicitors. It's okay. You've given me an apology now. Go on.
Do you know what I really loved about that auction? How multicultural our crowd is.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I went and saw you like art house movies. So you and your wife loves art house movies. She does. You know, I saw.
That's because we're intelligent.
Well, you know, I like to think I'm similar. So I went and saw Wog Boys. I saw Wog Boys 2. No, I saw Wog Boys
for the 12th time.
No, I saw Wog Boys 2. You know, multicultural film, and I've got to say that I was actually doubled over in laughter. I loved it, and Hannah, looked at me like, "Are you seriously laughing at this?" Because she didn't quite get the same sort of level of humour, but I thought it was hysterical. I would recommend it. But again, it's a film that celebrates diversity.
Yes.
And I think that's the beautiful thing. And unless you are an Indigenous Australian, we all came from somewhere, Philip.
Yep.
To come into this lucky country. We're not called the lucky country as much anymore, and we should be, because we are
still the
lucky country. And I think
a
lot of our appreciation of this country is not as loud as it should be, because this is great, and we should all come together and recognise the diversity is what makes this place fantastic. 488 Glen Ira Road, Caulfield. Well, that was a great auction, wasn't it,
It
Phil?
was.
Lots of buyers,
shout out to our
interest.
vendors. They're loveliest people. Been in the area for a long, long time. And we certainly wish you well with your move. But
sold for $2,900,000. We can disclose it.
I really loved that house, and we'd sold that house some time ago for a lovely family as well.
We did.
And shout out to them.
And 36 Bamber Road with 6 bidders, Phil. Now, there's a power of auction right there, because the vendor said, look, we'd like to get something in that low 2s. If we could get maybe around 2.2, we might do a deal, before we go to the market. Anyway, it didn't happen. It went to market, Philip. The reserve was in that range, in that sort of low 2s range. Lo and behold, 6 bidders took it up to $2,485,000. So that is a premium result, Philip, and well done to the vendors, the most delightful vendors, who I think they watched the show. Did they tell you that?
One property I want to talk about, Gary, which we didn't sell on the weekend, which I'm scratching my head because I think it's incredibly good value and the most
Happens
Stunning
sometimes,
home.
doesn't it? Yeah.
No, go figure. Ellington, the house in Ellington
great house.
Street
Love
in
that house.
Caulfield
Yeah,
South.
love that house.
Check this property out because, well, let's put an image up on that at the moment because I think that this is a screamingly good buy. So jump on that. Lamore, Nikki, Justin are waiting for your call as we speak, but you do need to have a look at that because I think it represents outstanding value.
Indeed. Now let's move along a little bit here, Phil, young Phil.
We've got to move quickly, Gary,
we are. It's been a long episode, but we haven't got that many auctions to review, so it's okay. We do have a couple of midweekers, though. We love the midweekers, the Twilighters. 6 Perry... And by the way, talking about midweek and Twilight, it's all happening next week because it's the Derby on Saturday. It's the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. And, of course, the Oaks on Thursday, Phil. 6 Perry Court, Brighton East, goes up for auction Wednesday, 6:30 p.m.
Gary, you've got to love this house. It is just magnificent. A beautiful accommodation, fabulous parcel of land. That's got everything you want. 5 bedrooms, 3 gorgeous bathrooms, a magnificent property. Looking forward to seeing that one sold. Shout out to Viv and Lee or Samuel who are handling that together.
The next day, Philip, the 27th, we have at 6:30 p.m. 16 Filbert Street, Caulfield South, a fine home.
I love our Twilight auctions, Gary. I think they're just a sensible way to sell, particularly when the weekends are pretty congested. This is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a stunning back kitchen meals family room. I don't think it gets any better than that.
Carrington Grove, Philip, the site of my old primary school. They don't ever admit that I went there because they don't want to deter students, but it was a great primary school, and across the road there's this great house at number 30 Carrington Grove.
That is the most incredible home. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 incredible bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking. That is just so magnificent throughout and comes complete with a self-contained apartment at the back, Gary. So all of those people looking for a secondary income, you could easily Airbnb that area at the back.
And Phil, the beauty of living in a street with a primary school is that no one's there at night.
Yep.
And no one's there on the weekend.
Correct.
So it's
Correct.
And when the kids are there, there's a sound of laughter, of frivolity and fun, Phil.
Yep,
Except when I was there, then it was me getting punched in the head behind the shelter shed, but that was a long time ago, thankfully. Phil, let's move on to Saturday's auction. There's only one and it's sold. It's in Hill Street, Bentleigh East.
Well, Gary, if that's sold, let's not spend much time talking about it other than the fact that it is a great property and we've sold a lot in that development. And that was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1 lock-up garage home.
Now, we have one of our feature properties going up this Sunday, Phil, because it's the grand final, the Cup Sunday. There's not a lot of options.
The grand final for horse racing.
Well, it is pretty much. Yeah, it is pretty much.
Yep.
Phil, there are only 4 auctions, but they are the most select properties you could ever want or dream of selling on any given day. We start off with this Selwyn Blackstone designed masterpiece at number 19 Keene Street, Caulfield South.
Gary, I walked into this house and I said to Arlene, who's handling it, I said, I could live in this house in a heartbeat.
It is a special home.
There are some houses, they talk about feng shui, just how houses feel. You walk into this house and it is timeless.
Yep.
It's magnificent. And it's just got a beautiful feeling to it.
So
shout out to Selwyn Blackstone who designed that.
And the vendors keep it so immaculately.
I'll tell you
it's
what,
like you could eat off the floor.
Showroom condition.
Yeah, it really is.
Felt very much like a brand new home.
It does. Beautiful home. 10:30 a.m. We'll see you there on Sunday. We're all going to be there. 11:30 we're moving on to Lumiere Road, the Golden Mile of Caulfield North.
Gary, the epicentre of the Golden Mile is number 49 Lumiere Road. This is a house that's been designed by Dr. Ernest Fuchs. Beautiful home either for renovation. It does sit on a fairly large parcel of land, so we've got interest there from homeowners, we've got interest from land buyers, but a sensational opportunity and right, as I say, in the absolute epicentre of the Golden Mile.
Philip, at 12:30 we're going to be auctioning a property in Inkerman Road. That's one at 616, a fine looking home.
Very hard to find a single level villa right in the epicentre of Caulfield North, and that's about the 8th time I've used the word epicentre. But that's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage. That's a really good opportunity to get right into central Caulfield.
A fine home presents itself in Langdon Road, Philip, number 4 Langdon Road. What a beautiful property this is.
Gary, a big family home on 746 square metres of land with a west and a northwest orientation where the swimming pool is. A big family home, a very solid family home, beautifully constructed, and is a great opportunity to get into what has emerged as really one of the best parts of Caulfield North.
Now, before we go, Phil, we've got 3 properties to review that are all very special, Phil. This property in Halstead Street. What a spectacular home this is, and the numbers through have been incredible, and the video online. Have a look at it because you're there with the vendor.
I am. Shout out to Richard Steeble from
a great job he does.
Look, he's always done great work and he's known for his really good work.
Yep.
Having said that, and I've said this to Richard, this is your best development to date, and all of his developments are great.
This is his signature project.
This is incredible. And a bit of a shout out, I don't mind saying, to Rena Cohen. Rena Cohen is the interior designer on this project. She
does a great job.
And we've seen a lot of her work over the years.
Beautiful
I also
work.
said to Richard, I said, this is, as far as I'm concerned, the work that I've seen of Rena's is one of her best jobs.
Yep.
She might argue otherwise and say she's got lots of good jobs.
Well,
I'm sure she does. But I just love everything about this property.
And there's a twilight auction, Phil, which we love on the 10th of November. Looking forward to it. Phil, we have another property to review. We've sold this once before. This is another incredible home in Quatter Avenue.
Gary, have a look at the video on this home, viewers, because it's the most incredible home. It's part of the Glenara Village, Ripponlea. So you've got all of the wonderful eclectic shops and cafes and restaurants.
Mexican place.
Yeah.
Have you been to that?
I haven't. It's all happening there. And this house is incredible. It's actually mind-blowing, this house.
Now, one of the other rarities in the market that's also a beautiful home in a very prestigious street, Philip, is 2 at 4 Kent Grove. Been in the same hands for many years. What a beautiful villa, single level,
and
1 of 2.
Very hard to find. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a double lock-up garage, a wonderful landscape driveway going down to the privacy at the rear. And Kent Grove, obviously, one of the best streets. Hard to find something like this that's not on a main road.
Beautiful flow, beautiful floor plan, a beautiful finish, all in a great location there in Kent Grove. Phil, that's a big wrap on this final October edition.
So much to talk about. Again, shout out to Edna, who we're sending something to you. Don't know what it is yet, but I'll make something nice. Slip that little invoice through.
I'd rather you did something not as nice and you showed me what it would cost. Because
come on, Gary, you're so obsessed about money.
That is a big wrap on GPTV. We look forward to bringing you the news on our Melbourne Cup edition next week. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have an outstanding week.